Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Ryan and thank you for checking out my Ian Fleming 007 book first impressions review slash discussion, and today we're going to be talking about Goldfinger. Look at the inside. I really like the inside for this one. It might be my favourite one so far. I'd have to look at them one by one. But so the overarching story for Goldfinger in terms of the movie and the book are very similar. The sort of connecting tissue for the story is changed around a bit in the movie version compared to the book, or same with most of the books. The scenes are maybe a bit more fleshed out in this version just because you have a lot more, I guess, space for that sort of thing. You can't have a movie that's like 7 hours long, but you can just keep adding extra pages, of course, for your book. But like I say, broadly speaking, it's very much the same. You still have Bond at the resort at the beginning where he meets Goldfinger. You still have the discussion about Goldfinger with like the gold merchant, or or whatever his position was, the royal treasure or something maybe. But you still have that discussion with M and Bond. You still have Bond playing golf against Goldfinger. You still have him get captured, and you still have the attempted like robbery of Fort Knox, and then you still also have the plane scene at the end of the story as well. So broadly speaking, it's very much the same sort of story. But then when you go into the finer details, there's quite a lot of changes. Like for example, this one I suppose they couldn't have done because of the order of the books that they did. But the man at the start of the story who is playing cards against Goldfinger and getting screwed over by him, firstly believes Goldfinger is screwing him over, hires Bond to look into it to see how he's cheating, and is actually, I can't remember, I think it's DuPont, I think it said. I just trying to find Jill's name at the start because I keep forgetting how to pronounce her last name, so I'm just going to stick with Jill. But basically he sat, oh yeah, Mr. DuPont. So he sat by Bond during Casino Royale when he played against Le Chiffre. And he makes a return in this book, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was cool that they brought that guy back of all people. But obviously you couldn't do that in the movie because Casino Royale wasn't made yet. But so he hires Bond because he thinks Goldfinger is screwing him over. Also, what's different is he introduces Bond to Goldfinger so he can sit at the table and watch them play before Bond goes into his room and finds Jill, and you have all that situation. A key difference is Bond basically steals Jill, like tells her to get away from Goldfinger because bad stuff is going to happen to you otherwise. And then you find out that she didn't. She went back to him because she needed the money. But I think she did say that to Bond, though, to be fair, that she'll be careful, but she's going back. And then when Bond is back with MI6, then you find out she was turned to, she was painted gold. So, same scene, but it's not in Bond's hotel room, and he doesn't, he's not the first one to discover it like he was in the movie. Going on from there, then, like the what is it, the scene with the paint, not painting, the like discussion about gold, that's basically the same. I wanted to say something, like I forgot something I was going to say as I was talking there. We'll just go on then. Like the golf club, or yeah, at the golf club is basically the same. Oh, I remember what it was, right, sorry. At MI6, in this version, Bond doesn't know who Goldfinger is yet. He hasn't had the discussion with M. So in which one is it? I think it's For Your Eyes Only. Bond, Roger Moore's Bond. He goes to like like in MI6. He talks to Q about basically reconstructing a person's face to see who they are. And I can't remember what the machine is called that they use to do that, but that is actually from this, from Goldfinger, because Bond doesn't realize who he is, so he goes to that machine, and pieces it together. But then obviously he has the discussion with with M, and it's like, oh wow, this is like what a massive coincidence that the guy I was trying to look for is in fact Auric Goldfinger, and that's who you now have a mission for me. I'd like to investigate. So that scene is just omitted completely from this. I can't remember the order of it. If he goes, so there's an extra scene as well where Bond goes to his house. The odd job. Oh yeah, so it's before, right? So then you still have the golf, the scene at the golf club where they play golf together. I've seen a lot of people talk about how they didn't like that in the book. You literally go through all 18 holes, and Ian Fleming does tell you basically every like stroke, every time someone hits the ball, you get every detail of it, and I really enjoyed that. I won't lie. I found the golf scene. I think it's 2 chapters, 2 or 3 chapters, to be really interesting. I really enjoyed it personally, but I know a lot of people didn't. One difference there is Oddjob is not being the caddy for Goldfinger. It's actually just like one of the guys who works at the club, like what happened for Bond. But the guy that is the caddy for Goldfinger is just a dickhead that no one really likes. That scene basically plays out the same. They get to the end, and Bond screws over Goldfinger with the ball. I'm pretty sure that's exactly the same anyway. Difference then is Bond goes to Goldfinger's like estate in a certain part of Britain, and then Goldfinger coincidentally leaves so they can spy on Bond to see if he's above board or if there's something fishy about him. Bond like looks around the house, finds I think he finds the car. You know, in the movie, there's the scene where the gold car is being dismantled and stuff. I'm pretty sure he finds that. I think that's where that scene comes from in the book, if I remember correctly. But then he goes upstairs and he finds recording equipment, and then he realizes he's been tricked, he's been duped, and he fell for it. And as a result, he finds the wardrobe where the actual equipment is doing the recording, and he opens it and puts a cat inside it, so it looks like the cat ruined the film. And then we get an interesting scene where we get introduced to Oddjob, and then a few things happen. I can't remember the order of them, so I'll just go through them. You find out that he's not mute like in the movie. He's just got a cleft tongue, which I think is like he has a super fat tongue that he can't really talk properly. So only Goldfinger can understand what he's trying to say. So he can talk in the books, you just, not very well. And you find out, I think he's got like some sort of disease, not disease, some sort of condition where like his hands and feet, I think it is, and maybe his whole body, the skin on his body is like super hard and super calloused. So he's just incredibly strong. Like you see him, I think he karate chops like a mantelpiece and just breaks it and does like a jumping kick and destroys something else that's very high. And Bond is very impressed by what he does. He still has the bowler hat that has like the blade inside the sort of the rim. But one difference is after Goldfinger discovers the cat, which he suspects Bond is still responsible for, he basically tells Oddjob that he can eat the cat, and Oddjob is very excited and very happy that he gets cat for dinner, which was a wild situation. But yeah, I suppose they removed that for cultural sensitivity reasons. Um, and one difference as well with when Bond gets captured compared to the movie is Tilly is still alive. Tilly gets captured with Bond, and Goldfinger puts them to work as being the I can't remember what it's called, but like in the legal system, there's that person who just writes down everything that's said. It's like a man or a woman with a typewriter, does everything that someone says in the courtroom, they type it all down. So if you ever need to reference anything, it's all there. And that's basically what I think he hires Bond for that specifically. I can't remember what he hires Tilly to do. It might just be Bond's secretary. So that's like quite different in that sense. Another big difference actually is Pussy Galore and the gangsters. So Pussy Galore is actually the leader of a lesbian gang in the book. She's not a pilot. I think she can fly though. I think she does still actually fly, but she's not she's not Goldfinger's private pilot. Um, Another difference is Goldfinger does not kill all of the gangsters in his like in his estate as soon as they bring him all the stuff he needs to attempt the heist. He does still kill them, but he kills them after the heist fails, basically. So where the movie ends with the heist being foiled, in the book the heist is foiled, they run away. This is where Oddjob then kills Tilly in a, I think it's in a train or by a train, and then he gets onto the train that Goldfinger's on and escapes, if I remember correctly. But so Tilly dies a fair bit later in the movie, in the book, than her movie counterpart. Also, I think it's more explicitly mentioned that Tilly is a lesbian in the book as well, because she's attracted to Pussy Galore. Which obviously that doesn't happen because they never meet in the book, the movie, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, they don't. Oddjob kills her before Bond gets captured by Goldfinger. Um, Another difference is Bond doesn't cause Pussy Galore to switch sides by having sex with her and appealing to her maternal instincts. She does swap sides though. I can't remember the reasoning for why she switches sides, but she does switch sides, and she does actually have sex with Bond because she was only a lesbian because she was just surrounded and grew up around horrible men who took advantage of her. And there was something about Bond that intrigued her, and the fact that he wasn't taking advantage of her, I suppose, eventually wins her over. Um, and then another like sort of slight change for the end of the book, which is the plane scene. Same thing happens. Bond gets on a plane, then you find out it's been hijacked by Goldfinger. The difference is um, Bond does, or the window does get shot and destroyed, but this time it's actually Oddjob who gets sucked out of the plane and like dies, not Goldfinger. And Goldfinger is just strangled to death by Bond in the plane after Oddjob is dealt with. Um, I think I think that's all of the differences that I can remember off the top of my head. The gang members are killed. I can't remember. I think he shoots them. I can't remember how he kills them though for certain. But he does kill all the gang members after the plan fails, and they're like in an abandoned train yard or something, or inside a train, or a factory or something. I can't remember where they are for certain. But he does kill all the gang members. Just he lets them at least try to do the heist with him, and then when he realizes it's all falling apart, he's just getting rid of the loose ends, so to speak. But Goldfinger, I'm not sure if it's a bias because of how much I enjoyed the movie. Like I've watched the movie about 4 or 5 times in the last 7 or 8 months, maybe, or a year at the most. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's a phenomenal story, movie, and I really enjoyed the book. So I personally gave the book a 9.5 out of 10. I'm not sure what or how I would categorize a 10. If I reevaluated the books, I probably would give Goldfinger and maybe From Russia with Love 10s instead of 9.5s. But for now, it's a 9.5. So let me know what you think of Goldfinger in the comments, where you would rank it compared to the other Bonds, and also what you would rank it out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.